Isn't it like January yesterday, Tom? It's unbelievable the way things move. Inbound organization, is that a weird spelling? I saw in the briefing you guys spell it with an S, right? I wanted to be authentic, so it's the US spelling, but it still sounds the same, inbound organization. All right, super excited to be here. I've been in Manchester for 3 days. Why are you guys so happy? Everybody in Manchester is happy, right? Emma's happy, Lydia's happy, Carrie's happy, right? Everybody, Will's happy and he's funny. I know. Louise, who I continue to call Louisa because I know like 50 Louisas, pretty funny. Olivia's happy. Sabin, you're happy, right? Boom. All right, this is going to be great. It's the monkey slide. Is that the way you feel this morning? No? Yes? Who feels like that? Emma, you feel like that? Do you guys drink coffee in Manchester? You do? Do you drink a lot of coffee? I thought the UK was like tea. No? You're coffee and tea? Yeah, Charlotte, you're a coffee person? Yeah. Okay, very good. What you'll find is there's a lot of stories that I have. Oh, I probably need a timekeeper. How much time do I have to talk, Sabin?
30 to 45. Yeah.
45 minutes? All right. Will you keep me on track? All right, give me like 20 minutes. I'll only get through like the first 3 slides. Yeah. Right? 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5, and then... All right, because Sabin is like the person who's got all the good stuff. All right, how many people are HubSpot users? All right, I'm going to say, I need a statistician. Anybody take math in university? Anybody take algebra in secondary school? Anybody have any math skills whatsoever? No, Emma? Got nothing? Well, can you like count nothing? You're not math inclined? Somebody has to be like a numbers person. No, Tom? No numbers thing? No? Oh my God, Tom's a video guy. All right, what's your name?
Ruth.
Spell it?
I-U-T-H.
I-U-T-H. All right, the spelling doesn't help with the pronunciation. All right, are you a math person? I know. Ruth. Very good. That is an easy name. All right, sorry, I misheard it. Right, Ruth, are you a numbers person? Ish? Okay. How many HubSpot users? Oh, should I move over to the other side? Do you want me to move over to the other side?
Yeah, go on.
I can go anywhere you want. I can speak louder.
Thank you.
Okay, if you use HubSpot, raise your hand. And Ruth, tell me what percentage of hands are raised.
I would say probably about 95.
Ooh, very good. You are a good statistician, Ruth. Thank you very much. I'll call you on a couple of different things. How many people understand inbound, the inbound revolution? Ruth? Hold your hands high, so, okay.
About the same.
Yeah, about the same. So 91st. So I'm going to speak a little bit about the inbound revolution. I'm going to speak a little bit about 12 years at HubSpot, a little bit about the monkey slide. All right, so anybody been to Vegas? Okay. Anybody been to Vegas on Sunday morning? Right? So I was speaking in Las Vegas, which is the party capital of the world, and I'm a little light on the details. Olivia has to say, no, you're going to be in Manchester this time, and Caroline says, be there at 9 o'clock, or else I'm in Liverpool or someplace like that. And so I'm speaking at 9:30 on Sunday, which is a little weird time to speak, and it turns out it's 9:30 in the morning, right? So I get to the venue, it's 350 seats. It is awesome, stadium seating, like a perfect place, and there's only 12 people in the audience. Right? And they're all sitting in the last row, right? It's weird. So I quickly jumped on the internet. I got my monkey slide. I put it up. It was a big hit. I made all 12 people sit on the stage because it was such a small crowd. It was super fun, but everybody, I don't know. Doesn't that remind you of temptation or redemption or relaxation or something? No? Boom. All right, this is me last week, 2 weeks ago. Anybody ever been to Peru other than Olivia? You have, Jonathan. You've been to Peru. You've been to Machu Picchu?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's me. Does this slide make me look fat? Yeah? Do I look fat, Charlotte? No. Oh, good. I think I had to pull it out so it fits the slide. So it's a beautiful place, 500 Priests live here for 200 years. You're above the clouds. It's amazing. When I went in, I did the 1-day hike. Olivia's done it. She did the 4-day hike. Oh my goodness. That's my beautiful wife, Amy. About 90% of the smart things I say, I clip from Amy, right? So I give her a shout out on all my presentations. All right, a couple of things you should know about Peru. Do you guys care about Peru? Should I get to the content and forget about Peru? All right, you're above the clouds, so that's what everything looks like. They have alpacas there. Anybody ever seen an alpaca? You have alpacas in Manchester? Really? No way. I didn't see any alpacas when I was walking around Manchester. And they've got a fixation with 80s rock. Any Billy Idol fans? Right? Rebel Yell, White Wedding, Madonna, right? I know. Every cab you get into, they have 80s and 90s like music, like before you were born, Lydia. It's amazing. Unbelievable. All right. Does this work in Manchester? It's a slow build. It's a slow build. These are terrible puns. Terrible. Okay. I know. I was at the University of Ohio in the United States. I put this up. And as you can see, I'm kind of an interactive speaker. No one said anything. So I said, all right, I'm going to wait it out. And then finally, like 4 minutes in, I started getting the giggles, right? And then some lady laughed, and then boom. It was a funny joke. How about this? Mayan apocalypse. All right, the story for this one, I know. I'm in Costa Rica, right? You'll see I speak a lot all over the world, right? And I'm in Costa Rica. This is the first time I have a translator. So I'm sitting here, and my translator's on a little stool, Gonzalez over there. And I say, Mayan apocalypse. He translates into Spanish, nothing, right? So I make him do it again. I'm like, you have to say the joke again. It's a funny joke. He's like, no. I'm like, you got to say the joke again. He's going, no. I go, why? He goes, there's no alpacas in Costa Rica. They think it's a fat goat. And I'm like, no, it's funny. So then he says something in Spanish, and everybody laughs. So you're only as good as your translator. And then I was just in London. Is Manchester humor the same as London humor? No? Do you guys like people in London? No? You hate people in London? Is it like the New York-Boston thing? People in like Boston hate people from New York, right? It's just like you're born with that, right? So when I was in London, I researched British humor. And it's sarcastic, self-depreciating, ironic, and deadpan. Right? Does that sound like Manchester humor? Manchester humor is the same as London humor. So I put that up, and everybody laughed. Right? Is that funny?
Yeah.
Several people have told me it's slightly inappropriate, but that's what when I got Google image under British humor, that's what they showed. Boom. Okay, my name is Dan Tyre. Take out your phones, connect with me on LinkedIn. Is everybody on LinkedIn? Okay, right now, connect with me on LinkedIn. Dan Tyre, executive at HubSpot. Right? I know 14,000 people around the world. My point to you is that if I can ever help you, right, in any capacity, right, you'll see my mission statement. I'm happy to do it, right? I'm employee number 6 at HubSpot. How many people on Twitter? Raise your hand if you're on Twitter. Ruth, the statistician, give me a quick.
Probably about 18.
Okay, very good. Anybody quit Twitter? Right? Emma, you quit Twitter? Yep, I see that periodically. It seems to have flatlined a little bit. You can connect with me on Instagram, DanTyre1, if you want to see pictures of my food. Anybody on Snapchat? Yep, couple of people, right? Snapchat going to survive? Will, is Snapchat going to survive? How many people think Snapchat will survive? I think they'll get bought out by Google, right? We'll see, right? They've kind of flatlined in the United States. I've done... and then LinkedIn, Instagram, Snapchat. Any other social media that you guys follow? Facebook? How many people on Facebook? Everybody? Anybody like remove their Facebook profile because of the privacy issues? 0%, Ruth. I don't need your help for that one. I know, crazy. 5 startups since 1983. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I'm a bit quirky. I do a fist bump. You fist bump in Manchester? Boom, like that. Shake hands. I will shake your hand, but I've touched 5,000 people in the last 2 weeks, so it's better off if we just do the bump. I live in a purple house. My dog's name is Katy Perry, which is kind of funny. I'm a bass player, right? When I graduated college, I was a bass player in a heavy metal rock and roll band. 5 startups since 1983. My first one went to $1.5 billion. My second one I started in my dining room, grew to $25 million. It was an agency. That's why I work closely with agencies. My third one went bankrupt, which taught me business planning and humility. My fourth startup got bought out by Microsoft, and HubSpot's my fifth, right? Traded on the New York Stock Exchange, worth about $5 billion. I was the first salesperson for HubSpot, the first sales manager, the first sales director, ran the international division for a while, sales recruiting. I've been at HubSpot for 12 years. Super fun. I mentor about 35 people inside and outside HubSpot. I advise about a dozen companies worldwide. I'm a big-time blogger. How many people are blogging? Woo-hoo, I'm going to say half. Tom Video Blogs. See that all the time. Very, very cool. I speak 60 times a year on behalf of HubSpot. I go all over the world. It's the most fun time ever. I've spoken at all of the inbounds. Happy to be here with Caroline. So much fun. I'm an author of a book called Inbound Organization. That's what I'm speaking on today, as soon as I get to that slide, right? I'm an angel investor in 25 companies, sales coach to the partner program, and my guiding principle is I try to do the most good that I can for the universe, which I stole shamelessly from my 24-year-old son, Eli, right? He went to university, went for 2 years, took a semester off, took a second semester off, and then said, Dad, I'm gonna quit school and I'm gonna go to Silicon Valley and save the world for artificial intelligence, right? Any artificial intelligence people here? Right? You understand that there's a propensity to artificial intelligence to have it go amok, right? And it could be bad. So my son Eli is trying to save the world for that. And so after spending like 3 days with him, trying to convince him to graduate, he's like, no, the only thing I want to do is do the most good that I can for the universe. So I said, all right, I'm stealing that. And I put it in all my presentations. All right, any questions about me? Feel like you know me? Pretty friendly guy. I am all in to help you any way I can, right? If you're a HubSpot customer, HubSpot prospect, it does not matter, right? The reason I'm still with HubSpot 12 years in is that is HubSpot's mission statement as well. All right, this is Brian and Dharmesh. Anybody ever see Brian or Dharmesh talk? Right? Charlotte has. Very good. That's Romeo the dog. HubSpot's a dog-friendly place. Do you guys let dogs in your workplace? You do? Raise your hand if you let dogs in your workplace. Raise your hand if you want your principal or managing director to let dogs in the market. Yes, I know. Dogs are the greatest, right? We have a few cats. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. And in Scottsdale, Arizona, there's this big company called PetSmart, right? Do we have PetSmarts in Manchester? It's like a superstore where you go in and it's all pet stuff. And there, they don't hire you unless you have a pet. And there, you take your pet to work every day. Right? So you'll be in a meeting and there's a guy with a parrot on his shoulder or a guy holding a snake, right? Or like three, I know it's weird. It's like totally weird, but that's what you got to do if you want to work for PetSmart. I know, it's crazy. Dharmesh is famous for being the soul of HubSpot. Brian started the Inbound organization and the HubSpot revolution 12 years ago. Both great guys. And the company's grown from 6 employees when I started. According to Yahoo Finance, yesterday morning we had 2,441. Olivia's employee number 25 in Dublin. Sabin has been here for 1.5 years. She's going to tell you all about the new product announcements. All right, when is the future? When is the future, Matt? No. Anybody disagree with that? Everybody used to say like 2020, 2025, the future is now. Anybody been in a self-driving car? Do you want to be in a self-driving car? No. They're totally cool. I'm telling you, it will blow your hair off. First of all, we have 600 self-driving cars on the way to Arizona. It's like the hotbed for self-driving cars. When you order a self-driving car from your phone, it drives up to your house. There are 2 guys in the front seat, right? One guy is like reading poetry and the other guy's like ordering a pizza or something like that. And they don't touch the steering wheel. In fact, some of them don't even have steering wheels, right? And it's got the GPS on the top, and you go the perfect speed, right? And it brings you right to your destination. You jump out, and it's free, right? Amazing. Do you guys know that in Dubai, you can take a drone from the airport to the Marriott? As long as you and your luggage are less than 350 pounds, right? You go in a driverless plane. You wouldn't do it, Charlotte? Would you do it, Caroline? No. Okay. It's amazing. We live in the future. My nephew, on his Twitter feed, it goes @coffee, @coffee, @coffee. I'm like, what's that? He goes, that's my tweet-a-pot. I'm like, what's a tweet-a-pot? He starts his coffee maker by tweeting it from his bed to his kitchen. Is that amazing? Any guys have like travel bags, right? Where you put like a suit bag, right? Do you know what I'm talking about, Matt? A suit bag, right? You like carry it over your shoulder, right? Does anybody still have one of those? You saw them like 20 years ago. I'm the last guy in the world that has a suit bag. I carry a suit bag. Do you guys pull your luggage, right? Do you pull your luggage? Right? You're way behind. Right? Now you can get the TravelMate robotics where your luggage follows you around like a dog. Right? You don't have to pull it anymore. Right? You load the app on your phone. Right? Have you seen them? It's amazing. It is amazing. I don't know how you get up an escalator. Right? But it's like your luggage like walks right behind you. Check it out. TravelMate Robotics. You'll see the little thing where you don't have to pull your luggage anymore. And my buddy Sean has one. Right? We're in the airport. And I'm like, all right, first of all, that's weird to see luggage following you around, right? Second of all, it comes with 3 USB ports and like a power supply. So you can plug right into his luggage, right? That's the future. And then the Fold-O-Matic. When I was in Las Vegas for the monkey slide, they announced this thing called the Fold-O-Matic, where you take your laundry and you put it in this machine, right? And it has 218 robotic arms and it folds it perfectly. Right, your shirts and your pants and everything like that, right? And it's $500 US, right? You guys want a Fold-O-Matic? Right? I didn't bring one. I got a copy of my book, but that's the only thing I have for like prizes. Oh, I do have some free stuff at the end. All right, easier or harder to be a business owner in 2018? How many people think it's easier? How many people think it's harder? What do you got, Ruth?
About 60%.
Yeah. Okay, it's a trick question. Depends, right? Depends on what you're doing. There's 3 things that you need to know about business today. Number 1, right, it's noisy, right? We enjoy the highest standard of living in the history of humanity, right? But it seems like people are like disgruntled. And all of this noise doesn't always lend itself to a high quality of life, right? Everybody does everything. Right? When I walk into all of these stores, right, there's aisles for automotive, aisles for clothes, aisles for everything, right? Do you have AAA in Manchester where they tow your car, right? No? If you have like a flat tire, is there somebody you call or you fix it yourself? Emma, you fix it yourself? Called AA? Just AA? Okay, in the United States, it's AAA because, of course, we got to be the best in everything, so we have more A's. We probably do. All right, and in AAA, right, which is mainly a towing service, you can buy insurance, right? You can book a Disney cruise. You can get a psychiatrist, right? You can get glasses, right, which is my example of everybody doing everything. Have you noticed your customers have changed, right? Marketers, how many marketers in the crowd, right? This is your customer, right? Do you see that your customers changed from the good old days? The good old days is 2014, right? Now everybody is like on edge. Everybody, even the nicest people in the world, right? My wife, right? She's a yoga instructor. She's all Zen, right? If you like don't help her, right, in the first 30 seconds, that's what she is. Everybody is like on edge. Everybody wants personalized information immediately. Right? There's no waiting anymore. Have you noticed that? Right? I'm going down from the 4th floor to the 1st floor. There's 3 people in the elevator, right? And people are like ticked off because it takes 20 seconds to get to the bottom floor, right? It's amazing. I'm on the on a flight over here, and the internet access is bad. The internet access on a plane is bad, right? And people are grumbling, this sucks, right? And I'm like, it's a plane. Are you kidding me? You've got internet access on a plane, right? And that's just the way people are. And that is not going to change, right? People expect a personalized experience, and they're quick to like bail, right? I think that's driven based on all the free apps that you have on your like phone, right? In the old days, anybody remember a user manual? Jonathan, you remember a user manual? Do you know what a user manual is? Right? It's like these. I never opened one. I'm like, that's not my style. But if you're an engineer, sometimes you like read about what you need. There's no user manuals anymore, right? You hand me a user manual, I'm like, what's that, right? If I want to download it, and by the way, if it doesn't download in like 45 seconds, I'm that guy, right? I want to jump in, and I just have to use it. And if it like doesn't work, boom, I'm on to the next one, right? Everybody goes through that in every stage of their life. And then more or less competition in 2018. More? Anybody think it's less? If anybody says less, tell me what industry you're in, and I'm going into that industry. According to HubSpot research, oh, by the way, all the like facts that I have, I didn't think them up. I didn't do the research. There's this lady, Mimi Ann Sabin. Do you know Mimi? Right? She's a PhD. She works for HubSpot research, and all the stats that I have come from HubSpot research. According to Mimi, the average company in 2014 had 6 competitors. What do you think it is in 2017? Guess. I have a t-shirt, Tom.
20.
Very good, 22. All right, you win the t-shirt. It's a woman's small, so I'm not sure it's going to exactly... I love it. All right, 22. Some people say like that we have more than that, right? Because you compete against everybody in the world. But competition is something that drives that user behavior, that understanding of what's going on. All right, anybody seen this slide before? The most trusted, you've seen it, right, Olivia? Do you know this? Right? So when we're talking about inbound organization, we're talking about building your organization with inbound philosophies. The people who know inbound, right, are all about helping. Right? They're all about treating people like human beings. They're all about assisting people either to earn their trust or just to help them because, like I was saying before, right? The problem with like the traditional sales and marketing process is that it's a little bit of a challenge. What's the most trusted like position in the world? Anybody know? What is it?
Doctor?
Doctors in the top 5? What do you think, Lydia? Lydia, here. What do you think?
Not an estate agent or a recruiter.
Yeah, I know. That's on the bottom, right? Luis, what's the most trusted position? You won't get it. If you do get it, I'll buy you a breakfast sandwich. How about that? It's a hard one. 60%, it's firefighter. I know. You have firefighters in Manchester, right? Yeah, it's weird, right? You don't think of a firefighter as trusted. Oh, but where's salespeople? Oop, hold on a second. It's a build slide. Salesperson 1%, marketer 0%. Right? Does that surprise you? Guy in the back, what's your name? What's your name? James. James, does that surprise you?
No.
Okay. Why? Why are salespeople and marketers like the bottom, right? The barista that you pay $4 to get your freaking coffee in the morning, right? They're 4 times more credible than a salesperson or marketer. Why? Any idea?
People think the money is.
Yes. You're a sales guy?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not lying though.
Not a lying one. You're a new aged salesperson. Good for you.
I'm very sad.
I know, but they, the land of misfit toys, right? They ruined it for everybody, right? Marketers even worse. Marketers are below salespeople. Marketers, the nicest people in the world, right? Take like direct mail and then they just flog it, right? They call it direct mail at work. They call it junk mail at home, right? They took email and they just ruined it, right? Anybody who's buying lists and sending lists, right? In the old days, 2014, if I got a spam email, I just put it in my spam folder and moved on. In 2018, I will never do business with you, ever, right? I have antagonism towards you. None of my friends will ever buy from me. So if you're buying lists and sending out information, if somebody sends me an email that says hello, doesn't say hello, Dan, doesn't know who I am, doesn't do any research, forget about it, all right? Now I'm pissed. I'm that guy in that slide. And that's the new reality of how to do business. Right? So everybody has a choice, right? The great thing about my business career, I've been in business for 38 years. Everything changed in 2007. With the like beginning of inbound, everything changed. In the old days, you bought lists. Salespeople were at the center of the universe, right? Didn't matter if they lied or not because you had no choice, right? James, when you wanted to buy something in 2006, how did you do it?
We went to a shop.
You went to a shop. And a guy in a little polo would come over and they would qualify you. You'd say, Charlotte, are you serious about making this purchase? And you'd say, yeah, I need this information, right? The only way you could buy something is if you talk to James or somebody like myself. And how did that make you feel, Ruth? Did you like that? That's what everybody says, right? I know. They go, how did you buy something in 2006? I asked my parents, right? It's usually annoying, right? Because you don't have control. The way you do it today is you Google it, right? And boom, ready to go. So this change is a fundamental change. The inbound organization is all about how you apply what you guys all know for HubSpot and all know for inbound to your entire organization, right? That helping attitude starts many times in marketing and moves everywhere. And it's critically important because the only way you win, you can still do the old stuff, right? But you're subject to all that old kind of stuff, right? The liars, the traditional marketing, that kind of thing. And with all of this competition, you're seeing less and less yield. Or you move to something else, and that's the inbound aesthetic. Inbound is all about helping people. Do you guys like helping people? Right? And once again, you can help people just to help them, or you can help them to earn their trust and generate their business. But this works, and we can prove it. The best part of being Dan Tyre is in 2007, I actually cold called for HubSpot. Like not warm called Charlotte, I cold called. I called all my friends. I pick up the phone. I behaved like an old line legacy salesperson. And they'd ask me two questions. Number one, what is inbound? And I'd say it's a more human way of approach. It's about educating people. It's about giving them free stuff. It's about helping them, and some of them are going to buy. And they go, oh, that's very interesting. Does it work? And in 2007, I'm like, I'm not really sure, right? We have 30 customers, right? In 2018, we know it works. We know it's superior. We know it provides a better ROI, right? And I can prove it. We got 60,000 customers, got millions of people using the free software. It is amazing. This helping permeates everything in the organization. So I'm going to give you some techniques of how to take the inbound approach, the inbound aesthetic, the inbound philosophy, bring it to everybody in your organization. Does that sound good? How much time do I have left?
15 minutes.
Okay. You're a good timekeeper there, Caroline. Very nice. All right. How many people in the audience have good customer relationships? Okay. So my next question is I'm going to ask, how do you know? Right? Matt, how do you know?
We ask them.
And do you measure it?
Yes.
Okay. How do you measure it?
Through a combination of, qualitative and quantitative measures.
Okay.
Use surveys.
Good. Matt, I like that. Great answer. Everybody familiar with NPS? NPS, Sabin, you know NPS, right? What does it stand for? Net Promoter Score. Very good. Matt, what's your name, the guy in the gray shirt?
Sorry, I must be cross-eyed.
No. Matt, I'm like, I wasn't specific in my point. I was like in between the rows. So I know you, Matt, but I don't know the guy behind you. Stefan, very good. Net Promoter Score. All right. And so if you're not gauging, when I ask people, do you have, there's 2 points to this slide. Number one, the key to successful businesses are good relationships. Would you guys agree with me? Everybody has customers that they love, and the customers love them, right? And the reason is because they've gone through a series of like points of the journey where you're not so cost focused. The relationship is more important, right? The big technology aggregators like Apple and Amazon and Google and Facebook, they all want to have these kind of relationship with your customers, but they can't, right? Because you have you. Right? You have Ruth, right? You have people, like actual people that will work with you through thick and thin, right? So local companies have a huge advantage if they have these good customer relationships, right? The second thing is you've got to prove that you have good relationships. The NPS is a great way to do it, right? The NPS gives you a quantitative percentage, right? It gives you a number of what your NPS. Matt, do you know what your NPS is? 78. All right, that's extraordinary. Its scale is 1 to 100, right? Anything over Apple, I believe, is a 61 today. So people are happier with your company than they are with their iPhone. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All right, you got that, right? A 78 is thrilling, right? You could always improve it, right? But that shows me you have very, very happy customers. NPS, if you want information about it, let Digital 22 know, and happy to show you how it works. Right? You want to make sure that your customers to stay happy, because in line with everything we talked about, it's 2018, right? I'm not a happy customer. I'm not going to tell you, James. I'm just going to move. I'm going to go. And if I'm not a happy customer, I want you to know that I'm not a happy customer. And I want you to know like immediately, right? Anybody know attention span of a UK consumer? Guess. What's that? It's 8 seconds. A goldfish is 9 seconds. Your attention span is less than a goldfish. Matt's saying, of course. Yeah, I know that. Okay, that's just the way it is. Everybody, boom, I want it now. Even Emma, the nicest lady in the world, right? She wants it now. She just wants it now. That's just the way we roll. All right, your customers, if they're ticked off, you need to know immediately, right? So HubSpot now has a product called the Service Hub that sends out a NPS, right, after every customer interaction, right? 3 little faces. Are you going to cover this? Okay, the first face is a sad face. If you're not happy, if Charlotte's not happy, I want to know immediately. So I can pick up the phone and go, Charlotte, you're not happy. Why aren't you happy? Boom, right? She can tell me and then I can fix it, right? There's an ambivalent face. Is that a thing, ambivalent? Yes, like a yellow face, like a caution sign. Do you have caution signs here in Manchester? Right, yellow, light, right? So then I want to understand how can I make it better? And if you're happy, I want you to tweet it out, or I want you to put it on social media, or I want to do an NPS survey right there to reinforce the fact that I'm happy, right? Saban and I are both going to talk about the flywheel. You guys familiar with the flywheel? Who knows the flywheel? Ruth, I need some help here.
About 50%.
50%? Okay, that's why we're going to, one of the biggest things to come away from this, hopefully you'll understand the inbound organization, hopefully you'll understand the product announcements, and boom, we're going to lay into the flywheel, right? Very good. Okay, so these customer relationships are the future of your business, right? You've got to know and nurture them, and then you need to have a number. Next time I come back to Manchester, I'm going to be like, all right, what's your NPS? Critically important. All right, does everybody know this chart? Do I need to go through this chart? Matt, you want to explain it? Okay, anybody want to explain it? It's a great chart. We've used it essentially for 12 years. Right? Not a lot of change. This is what happens to today's buyer's journey, right? There's some stuff underneath here, but basically, this is how you get net new leads, right? Nirvana for every company. Does everybody in the audience want to grow, right? Raise your hand if you don't want to grow. Actually, it's a tough question to answer. Usually people can't even see the hand, Ruth. Sometimes in Italy, companies don't want to grow. But other than that, everybody wants to grow, right? The way you grow is you get companies who've never heard of you to come to your website. You move to have them drop their contact information. You help them, you nurture them. Hopefully they turn into customers, and then you want them to be promoters. That is the new way of doing business, right? If you don't do that, you're pooched, right? It won't work, right? We know this, right? The inbound journey is the single most impactful thing in my entire 40-year business career, right? If you don't play in the inbound, you will lose. Unless you don't want to get an internet lead, right? And I've never met a company, even in Italy, that wanted an internet lead. All right, who's familiar with the term schmarketing? Say it, Emma. Schmarketing, that's it. Like you're from Brooklyn. Schmarketing. Say it as a group. 3, 2, 1. Schmarketing. Very good. All right, that means sales and marketing squished together. Okay, I invented that term in 2007. I was getting drunk with our CMO. When I was actually cold calling for HubSpot, like cold calling, right, we started to get these inbound leads, and they were awesome. Awesome. So I was like, we need more of these inbound leads. And Mike Volpe, who was the CMO at the time, says, I know, Dan. I go, well, get more. He goes, I know. We have to write more content. I'm like, well, write more content. He's like, I need a writer. I need to hire a writer. And I'm like, okay, hire a writer. And he's like, no, I don't have any headcount. I go, all right, I will give you sales headcount to hire a marketing person. And he's like, you would give me sales headcount? You'll replace a salesperson with a marketer. I'm like, yep, it's not sales, it's not marketing, it's schmarketing, right? And then the Harvard Business Review wrote it up in 2007 in a case study. This guy, Professor Thomas Steenberg. All right, do you guys practice schmarketing? Do you have sales and marketing alignment? Right, that's part of the inbound organization. It's actually the first step, right? When we started with marketers, right? Marketers tend to be very helpful. They want and understand the inbound revolution. Salespeople, a little less so. Salespeople, other than James seems like a good guy who wants to help people. Do I have that right, James?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, very good. If you're not, you got to come clean, right? I was in New York, and some guy like stood up. I was speaking in front of 500 people, and he goes, "That's not the way we do it in our industry." And I'm thinking, oh, okay, you're going to interrupt Dan Tyre's presentation, buddy? That's not a good thing. And he goes, no, in our industry, we just call. I go, you just call. Who do you call? He goes, we call 120 people a day, right? What do you think about that, Ruth? Calling 120 people with no differentiation every day. Not your deal.
No idea.
Not ideal. I know. You're like, want to spit in the corner, right? You're like, oh my goodness, that is the stupidest thing I ever said. And I said to the audience, okay, audience, what do you think? Do you want to get a call from guy in the third row? Boo. The guy had to leave, right? I'm like, all right, the good news of that is that's what your customers are thinking, right? When you're their conversion. Does anybody know the conversion of a cold call? Guess. I don't have anything else to give to you, but do we have any other prizes? Right? All right. Guess the conversion of a cold call. James, you're a salesperson. Okay. Anybody have another guess? 2%? Okay. 1.62%. So if you make 100 calls, like cold call, a real cold caller is going to make 100 calls a day, right? Saying the same stupid shit to everybody they talk to. They're going to move 1.62% people to the next step, and they're going to completely tick off 98.5%. There is no other activity in the world where if you wasted 98% and a half of your time, effort, and money, you keep doing it. It's dopey. It's stupid, especially in 2018. You have to find a better way, right? Inbound and schmarketing is a better way, and we can prove it. By the way, for an inbound lead, it's 7 to 11%. When you call inbound leads, you'll get 7 to a little more than 11% will move to the next stage. If you include video in the email, right? Ask Caroline or Charlotte about video in the email, or Tom, right? It improves to between 22 and 33%. Anybody using video in their email? Okay, very, very good. Olivia does it all the time. Talk to Olivia. Right? Amazing, right? Because it's human. You see a little Dan Tyre with the gray hair, like a Harry Potter movie, in your email, right? James, I'm sending you an email. I go, I know that guy. You see an actual picture of me, and then you see all my crazy energy, and I'm like, James, I want to do business with you. Sometimes I'm holding a little sign that says, James, call me back, right? About 33% of the time, you won't actually call me. You'll send me an email, and I'm going to be super smart and embed my meetings tool in it because you don't have time to actually call me. You have time to get on my calendar, and boom, that's the way it works. All right, so the first step in the inbound organization is making sure you have sales and marketing. All right, this is the flywheel, right? Everybody familiar with the sales funnel? Okay, say goodbye to it because it's dead, right? The sales funnel, we lived with it forever, right? When you were selling private jets, right? Didn't you go by the sales funnel? Right? It was amazing. The problem with that is the salesperson had to grant you access to the top and work all the way down. So in 2006, Ruth, I would ask you these very intrusive questions of whether you were a serious buyer or not. I wouldn't let you go through the next stage unless you answered right. Right? And it was horrible because all you wanted to do was like figure out whether it was purple or it fit in the back of your truck or if you could get up the stairs or whatever. You just wanted basic information. There's no way to get it unless you talk with a salesperson. And the salespeople were so swarmy, that's why no one trusted them. Right? Marketers weren't much better. Right? And the customer was at the end. The problem with this model in 2018 is too expensive to get people into the top of the funnel. And it doesn't work. How many of you guys have customers that like swarm really quickly and then they ghost you? They go dark. I know, Tom, Charlotte, of course. It happens all the time. Olivia will work with somebody and they're like they'll talk every day, like they're buds, right? And then nothing. What happened? Did Olivia tick them off? No, she did not. What happened was life intervened. They went off to something else. Right? Their boss said, no, that's not a priority anymore. Go this way. All right? But when that person comes back, they expect that you will know that they spent every day with Olivia, even if Olivia's onto a new job, even if she's doing something else, right? That is critically important. So the flywheel, right? Anybody know what a flywheel is? Any potters in Manchester? You guys know what a potter is? Like make pots? Okay. I thought there would be a couple of potters here in Manchester. No? All right, so you step on this thing. I know. Who knows? You step on this thing and it goes around, right? And the more you step on it, the more it goes around. The key to a flywheel is reducing friction, right? And the great thing about the flywheel is that customer is at the center, right? The customer's where they should be. James, when you're a consumer, you like to be at the center. You like me to understand who you are, right? Your customers are your best way of getting more customers. Everybody like word of mouth customers? Yes? Why? Why do you like word of mouth customers?
They're easy to convert.
Easy to, why?
Because they've been recommended.
Okay, they've been recommended. So you move through that trust stuff. You're already the polar bear slide, right? They love you because Charlotte told you. No, just go with Olivia. Olivia knows everything. She's just the right person, and it saves you time. So you like it. Oh, by the way, your word of mouth is free, right? It's not really free. So now we want to lean into that. Now, with the flywheel, you don't want to invest in salespeople. In fact, the statistics say over the next, sorry about this, James, over the next 10 years, 1 million sales jobs will disappear. They'll all go to customer success, right? You lean into your customer success. The biggest change since 2007 is you need to make sure you have happy customers. I'm going to explain to you how that works, right? But if you don't have happy customers, in the old days, James, if we did something dopey, right? Somebody complained, they'd call our boss, right? And my boss would call me in and say, don't do that anymore. And I go, okay, and then walk out and do it again, right? No ramifications. What happens if you have an unhappy customer in 2018? What do? Sabin, what do? They post it on social media, all right? And if on your LinkedIn, somebody says, don't do business with Dan Tyre, right? He's loud and obnoxious and the software doesn't work, you're cooked, right? And so it used to be that it was buyer beware. The reason why people went through all this process is because they want to make sure they pick the right software. Now it's seller beware. If you bring on the wrong client, it's never their fault, it's your fault. So you have to be very, very careful. The flywheel helps you do that, right? And the inbound organization demands that you have good fit customers. All right, so people say, where do we start, right? And let me give you 5 or 6 tips of where to start. How am I doing on time?
About 5 minutes.
Okay. The first thing is called an M-spot, an establishing goals, right? Does everybody have goals for their company, right? In my third startup where I went into bankruptcy, it taught me business planning and humility. The first thing I learned is something called an M-spot. Olivia and Sabin see it all the time, right? They know what the mission of HubSpot is, right? An example of an M-spot, your mission, your strategy, your plays, your omissions, your targets. All right, HubSpot invented this about 5 years ago. All right, it's all over in the book because I want every business owner, I want every marketing department, I want every sales department to understand the mission of the business. If you don't know the mission of the business, right, it's hard to attract good employees, right? People want to work for a mission-driven company, right? I just talked to a furniture company in North Carolina. I'm like, all right, what's your mission for a furniture company? They go, we want to create environments where people can do their best work. I'm like, oh, that's so nice, right? An air-conditioned company, right? We want to make sure that your employees are cool, which I thought was kind of creative and also very cool. People want, if you want to recruit the best employees, which give you a competitive advantage, you need to be mission-driven. Your strategy is who you serve, right? The riches are in the niches, right? Like 1 million people have said that on before me, but it's true. In 2014, you could be horizontal. Today, you've got to be very, very focused. Because when I call you, James, I say, I'm working with salespeople in Manchester that are trying to establish trust and grow their business 25% over the next 18 months. Does that sound like you? And as specific as I can be, I work with manufacturing companies in north of England that are at least $10 million of turnover and want to move to the next step. What you're hearing, right, is different than what you heard 2 years ago. Everybody wants to work with a specialist in 2018. So your strategy is who you serve. Your plays are the 3 to 5 things that you're going to do this year to get to what your targets are, right? And what Olivia and Sabin and I see every company meeting is that we see these targets and we see if we have a green arrow going up, a yellow plus sign that means we're okay, or a red arrow going down. So we know whether we're tracking against these plays, right? You shouldn't have more than 3 or 5 plays that meet your strategy. And the great thing about the M-spot format is you have one for the company, you have one for division. Some people even have individual M-spots. The most fun part of M-spot is the omissions. These are the things you're not going to do. Why is it important to tell your organization what you're not going to do? Anybody know? Any ideas?
Don't get distracted.
Say it again.
Don't get distracted.
Exactly, exactly. If you go through a process and you're going to say, these are the 5 things that you're going to do, right? And people suggest certain things, you want to honor them by saying, no, we considered it, but we can't do it until 2019. The biggest challenge in 2018 isn't starting a company, it's scaling a company. And the biggest challenge in scaling, you can't do everything. You want to do everything, you understand that it's impactful, but there's some things you can't get to. So when you put omissions, it's like a placeholder. You may do it in 2019, but you're not there yet. Now, everybody in your company should have an M-spot, right? When we see it at least 4 times a year at our company meetings, right? And it keeps everybody on the same page. We have over 2,400 employees, and I want everybody to understand the mission of HubSpot. By the way, in 12 years, the mission of HubSpot has only changed once, right? It used to be that it was inbound for small and mid-market companies. Does anybody know HubSpot's mission now? All right, it's my last slide, so I'll explain in the last slide. All right, we talk about an inbound operating system. This is what you need to have an inbound organization. So does everybody have a wiki? Do you guys know what a wiki is? It's a posting, a bulletin board in your organization where anybody in the company can post everything, right? We're on the wiki all the time, right? Saban could post anything on the wiki. She could post a review of the Manchester Hug and said, oh man, Tyre ate into my time, right? He was supposed to speak for only 45 minutes. He took an hour and a half, and it's perfectly okay. And then Olivia can come in and say, yeah, he does that all the time. And there's comments on it, right? And it's an amazing form of communications. Right? It is the soft skills around an inbound organization is totally transparent, right? And we want to hear from Saban. We want to hear from Olivia. And Brian Halligan, right? Dharmesh Shah, all these guys, they check the wiki on a regular basis. That's how they keep the pulse of the organization, right? Number 2, you have to have company meetings, right? So on a company meeting, 4 times a year, everybody globally, we jump on a Zoom. You guys use Zoom, right? Raise your hand if you use Zoom. Anybody use WebEx? Okay. I hate WebEx. The only redeeming factor of WebEx is the first 8 minutes. You always hear this guy from, I don't know, the States going, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Right? It gives you something to talk about for the first 8 minutes while somebody collects it. Zoom is like immediate, perfect quality. You can see people. Amazing. All right. So the first part of an inbound operating system is a wiki. The second is company meetings where you're totally transparent. Right? The third part of an inbound operating system is pushing decision-making to the lowest level. Right? That is not easy for hierarchical companies that have been around for 30 years. It's usually the managing director who makes all the decisions. That doesn't work in 2007 because of the attention span and the need to move very, very quickly. Right? Then there are other things that the M-spot is part of your inbound operating system. Right? The decision-making process is part of the inbound operating system. A centralized view of the company and technology is part of the inbound operating system. And there's lots of information we can share this. Anybody familiar with the HubSpot culture code? 128 slides, right? The culture code was created by Dharmesh, and it explains what we expect in an employee, right? Before these guys are hired, we want to make sure they understand what our expectations are, right? We have an acronym called HEART, H-E-A-R-T, stands for humble, empathetic, adaptable, what's the R in HEART? Remarkable and transparent, right? And we look for people to read the culture code. Part of the inbound organization is you have an employee persona, right? You guys know, like buyer personas, you need one for your employees. You need to say, you don't need 128 slides. Even I will agree that's a little verbose, right? I didn't create it, that's Dharmesh's deal, but you're like saying, okay, this is what we're looking for in an employee. The companies with the best employees win. If you're not a mission-driven company, I don't care if you're an air-conditioned company, you're not going to make it, right? Because people today want to work for a reason. The research, according to HubSpot research, 68% of millennials will work for less money if it's a mission-driven business, right? And making money isn't a mission, right? Your mission should be focused on how your customers see you. All right, this is worth a look. And then the assignment is to go back and create your own culture code, maybe your own acronym, so that you can recruit the right folks. All All right, potholes along the way. It's tough to push decision making down to the lowest level. We get people from other companies that come into HubSpot, and then we say, all right, we'll set your goals. They're like, what do you mean set your goals? They're like, you're responsible. Set your own goals. Define your own project, right? And then part of the inbound operating system is folks reviewing it on a regular basis so people don't spin their wheels. You guys have potholes in Manchester? Lots of them? Okay. Cool. All right. On our M spot this year, one of the biggest changes is that we included diversity and inclusion for the first time. Diversity is recruiting for gender equality, ethnic equality, age equality, and inclusion is making sure that we're cognizant about how that works. Right. In 2015, Katie Burke, who's our Chief People Officer and an amazing person. Do you know Katie? Amazing person, right? Halligan in Inbound 2017 said one of the most impactful HubSpot employees ever. MIT trained, super diligent, and made the decision to publish our diversity statistics every year. In 2016, 25% of our managers were women. In 2015, it was 38%. In 2016, it was 45%. Today, 48% of our VPs and over half of our managers are women. Right? We've promoted women on maternity leave. Why would we do that? If you're going to sell to women, you have to have women on your board, right? You have to have women in management positions. HubSpot has 3 women on our board of directors. Less than 20% of companies have that, and a person of color, right, to help drive the company. And we're very, very proud of that because the inbound revolution is more than just HubSpot, right? And you're all part of it. You're all pioneers, right? We're only in the second inning. Right? When you know inbound, and most of the hands, thank you very much for being a great statistician, by the way, Ruth. Round of applause for Ruth, please. Right? Is that we're in the second inning. Oh, do you guys understand innings? Right? It's like we're 20 minutes into the football match. Right? There's a long, maybe 15. There's a long way to go. How long is a football match? 90 minutes? Yeah. So we're just like early. Right? All of people, your kids will look at you and like, you were doing that inbound stuff, whether you use HubSpot or not. In 2018, that is amazing, right? And we know this is going to win. Helping people is always better, right, than pushing them or closing, right? And diversity is a big part of that. All right, this is the book. I got a copy. Who do I owe? Do I owe a copy to Matt or to Ruth? All right, I'll tell you what. Oh, no, I gave it to Tom. You're the T-shirt. Yeah. All right, I've got one copy. Maybe we'll give it to Ruth because she was a good statistician. Called The Inbound Organization. Anybody ever write a book before? Super hard to write a book. I thought it was going to be easy. I thought all I had to do is talk. James, it's like nothing like talking. Like when you're writing a book, you have to be like logical. You got to plan it out. And as I've mentioned before, that's not necessarily my strong suit. But I'm glad it's done. It's selling like crazy, right? People identify with inbound, how to build and strengthen your company's future. A lot of the stuff that I talked about today. Boom! All right, so it's all in your hands, right? Olivia and I are speaking in Oxford tomorrow, and one of our slides is marketing is everything. Right? Marketing is now the driver of business. In the old days, when you wanted to grow business, you hired somebody like me. Right? And I hired people like James all over the world. James was a field salesperson, maybe a manager, maybe an executive, right? And the marketing people would create the leads and give them to James, and James got all the money, all the glory, and like the company grew. Today, the revenue generation is all in marketing, right? I tell CEOs, if you've got more than 10 salespeople on your sales staff, fire the 2 least performing salespeople. Right? Give all the money to marketing or an agency, right? Super, super important because marketing is more important than sales. I can prove it. Emma, if you don't bring the leads to the yard, forget about it. I don't care how great your sales team is, they're never going to close. What percentage of the sales process do you think people want to go through before they talk to a salesperson? Shout it out. 90? Anybody think it's different? Think it's more or less? Carrie? What percentage of the sales process do you want to go through before you talk to a salesperson? Yeah, there's differences.
Do I want to learn loads about it before I'm speaking to someone probably?
Very good.
I don't want to know that I'm going through this process.
Most people, the statistics say it's between 65 and 99%. When you buy a car in the United States, you print out the Kelley Blue Book, you walk into the dealer and say, give it to me at this price or I'm going to buy it online. right? For most businesses process, you want to do your own research first, right? Usually people will go through about 65 to 85% of the process before they pick up the phone and call a salesperson. They want to do that because they want to move at their own pace. They want to maintain control. They want to understand how they learn about something before they jump to something else, right? And so that means salespeople are playing less of a role, marketing playing more. I tell inbound marketers, if you're not practicing inbound, quit and get inbound certified. Anybody inbound certified here? Woo-hoo! Yes, very good. Congratulations, right? It is very, very significant. You are the future of marketing, right? And I tell salespeople, if you're not getting inbound leads, your life is horrible. If you're, James, did you actually cold call?
More than I would like.
Yes. Okay. So now we'll spend a little bit of time in the break. I'll teach you how to warm call, which is different. Actually, Charlotte, Tom knows how to warm call. Caroline knows how to warm call. She is awesome at it. When Caroline calls you, she's the most respectful person ever, right? She's like friendly. She's talking about Manchester. If you're not in the mood to chit chat, she's not going to chit chat. She's going to go right to her positioning statement. She goes, I talk with marketers in Manchester who work for manufacturing companies that are looking to grow 25% over the next 18 months. Does that sound like you? Right? I've role played with Caroline. She is awesome at that. She's like just super nice, super friendly. She doesn't have a pushy bone in her body. You just want to work with Caroline, right? That's the future, right? Marketing is everything, right? Inbound marketing is superior, and I can prove it, right? And so I tell salespeople, you're not getting inbound leads, quit. Go to somebody who's getting inbound leads because it makes your life better. All right, people in Manchester like free gifts? Ooh, a lot of head nods. Very good. Everybody know the growth bot? Okay, Slack. Do you guys use Slack? Ruth, do you use Slack? Okay, do you use Facebook Messenger?
No, but we're very niche B2B.
Okay, it's all right. You have it on your phone, Facebook Messenger? Do you like talk to your cousin with Facebook Messenger?
I'm not a good example. I used Facebook a long time ago.
Okay.
Terribly example.
That's kind of relevant, very relevant. All right, so do you guys know what I'm talking about? Facebook Messenger? All right, you can load GrowthBot for free, right? It's the sales and marketing bot. So if you're targeting a company, James, if you're targeting a company, you can say, tell me what they're buying for pay-per-click. Tell me their growth rate. Tell me what technology they're using, right? And the GrowthBot will go. You can even ask it to give you jokes. I don't know if you need jokes, James, but it's a free tool from HubSpot. Millions of people have downloaded. You can load it into Slack or you can load it into Facebook Messenger. CRM, anybody need a free CRM? Right, boom, HubSpot has a free CRM. Hundreds of thousands of people using it. The Academy, right, there are now 84 hours, 16 certifications. What certification do you have? Are you an inbound certified person?
Inbound and content marketing.
Ooh, yeah, I like that. Unbelievable. Tom, you're inbound sales certified, right? Okay, very good. This is a great thing that we provide to everybody, right? Why do we give away 84 hours and 16 certifications for free? It costs us millions of dollars a year because it's the way to do it. We want to help people. We don't want to charge them. We don't want to gouge them like universities sometimes do, right? What we want to do is make sure that you're learning and developing. All right, and then 400 ebooks. Just go Google HubSpot Marketing Resources, right? I have an ebook on everything you can think of in marketing and sales, right? I got an ebook on ebooks, right? They're all under my desk, 400 of them. We give them away all free to anybody who wants it, right? Why do we do that? It's the right thing to do, right? Boom. All right, then HubSpot Research, completely free. This lady, Mimi Ann, unbelievable, super smart. I think she has a staff now too. All of the details. As you're trying to teach your organizations how to become inbound organizations, this will give you all the data and the facts. 92% of consumers will look at like reviews and things like that. 97% of people, B2B or B2C, before they make a decision, will search it online or social media. Does that pass your sniff test? 97%, right? What are the other 3%? They must be in an airport someplace. It's crazy. All right, and then the last one is we now have some free marketing software for people who are just getting started. Boom. All right, so it used to be inbound for everyone, everywhere. The new tagline is grow better, right? That's our mission. We want our partners to grow better, right? Partners stand up, HubSpot partners. Caroline, stand up. Louisa, stand up. You guys stand up too, right? these are all HubSpot part. Any questions that you have about anything that I talked about, ask one of these folks. They're in HubSpot all the time. They understand what HubSpot is. Even if you bought direct, we highly recommend that you get a partner, right? Because you might want to take a vacation sometime. You might want to do a new social media kind of stuff. And the statistics say that if you have a partner, you have better velocity. Grow Better is a great mission, right? We take that very, very seriously. The reason I'm here, if there's anything I personally can do, got tons of meetings, very good Caroline for setting them up and Olivia for setting them up. Anything that we can do, Sabon the same thing, to help you grow better, we're all in, right? That's not a marketing slogan. That's the way we run our business, right? And that's why after 12 years, we've enjoyed a certain level of success and we're just getting started. So if there's anything I can do personally, dtyre@hubspot.com, just let me know. All right, I know I went a little into your time, Sabon. Boom! Thank you very much. All right, so we take a break?